Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Set for Brew. It's a brew day today. We're doing the Elvis Juice clone. Couple of things I'm doing differently today on the old HOPCAT. One, I'm doing a manual step brew, so I'm not doing an automatic multi-step brew. I'm just going to manually control everything. And I'm going to have a go at underletting. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I used to have a proper mash tun, and you underlet, just sort of let the water in from the tap at the bottom, and it would go up and the grain would actually get quite evenly wet. I'm also doing a full volume mash. I'm going to use all my water in the mash. Now, I would have thought it's the same thing if I just take this malt pipe. If I just take the malt pipe, put the malt in, get the water to temperature, and then slowly drop this in. It should be the same thing. I mean, it could be a disaster, but if you don't try, you don't learn. So let's see how we get on. Okay guys, so I've got the malt pipe outside. They've given me SO5 with the USO5 with the kit, but I'm going to use Kveik yeast with this, so I'll save that for another time. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I'm just going to literally take the malt and pour it into the pipe. If you have a look here, I've left both of the pipes on for now, and I've put the capper on and just the bottom filter. I think that's enough. Then I'm just going to literally tear these bags open into there and fill it up. I'm really not sure how this is going to work, but if it does work, it just saves. You can spend more time doughing in, as in stirring and carrying on, while you mix it all in and get it ready. But you just don't have to make all the mess and take the time to individually ladle each bit in. So there we go. And that's why I've done it outside, because it is a bit floury. So you can see I've still got some clearance here on the bottom pipe here. So I will take this one off and I will just use it down there. It'll expand a little bit when it gets wet, but otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much how I'm going to do it. Once the water's up to temperature, another thing I'm doing is I'm heating the water up to 66, which is the target mash temperature. Usually I would be a little bit higher, but I'm happy for the temperature to drop and then to recirculate and get the temperature to come back up. So there'll be a bit of a range of temperature at the beginning, probably from around 62, 63, back up to 66, and then we're all good. Catch you on the next step. Hey guys, okay, so that it's up to 67 degrees now. Okay, it's up to 67 degrees, so now it's time for me to try and do the doughing in, which hopefully works. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work, but I also haven't gone for the full volume mash because I've got about 27.5 litres in there, up to the line there, and once that goes in, I think the level is going to be just about right. I might adjust it a bit after if I feel I can get a bit more water in there, but I'm probably about 8 litres short of full volume. I'm also using RO water now again, so I'm back on the RO water. So I've done my additions. My water additions are 1.2 grams of salt, 2 grams of calcium chloride, 4 grams of gypsum, 5.2 grams of baking soda, and 2.2 grams of Epsom salt. So not a lot, but I think the baking soda was quite high. I think I just needed to up the bicarbonate levels. So let's see if I can do this with you guys watching. Just making sure all the nutrients additions have mixed in there nicely. So nice and slow. show you what I've got so far. The level of the grain has risen quite a bit. You can see there's the stopper. We had a couple of inches spare, so it hasn't all absorbed water. So I'm going to give it a stir now. It's probably going to take quite a vigorous stir to get it going, so you might not want to watch the whole thing. But hopefully the douging in, the underletting has slightly worked. It would be very uncool if it hasn't. Well, the consistency, because I'm doing a full volume mash, the consistency is still rather watery, but I can see the top here, which means if I pull this out just a little bit and change it for the the silver, this sort of joining bit, it should just stick out the top. So I should get away with that amount of water. I can't add any more because the level has gone above that. I mean, I could, I suppose, just leave the cap on the malt pipe and go full volume mash. I might actually do that. Then I won't have a top screen. Is that a problem? Not really. Apart from, I could just put the top screen on top. Just lay it on top. Okay, well, I'll come back to you guys and let you know what I've done. For now, I'm just going to finish doughing in, make sure I haven't got any dough balls and all that, but the brew day's started. Okay, I've decided what I'm going to do. So it's a 90-minute mash. I've set the 90-minute mash up on here, which is, again, just a manual step. So I've done 90 minutes at 66 degrees. It's obviously lost that temperature that I said it would lose when I doughed in. Expected, so it's quite nice to start at a lower temperature and work your way up rather than have to come down. What I did is instead of cocking around here too much, I have put the extra piece of pipe on, and that's sitting just perfectly on top of that now. I am probably going to add a few more litres of water to this and see how close I can get to a full volume mash, so that my sparge will potentially be, 5 litres or less, or perhaps I can liquor back at the end. I don't want this to be too strong. I think it's set to be about 1050. I had to. So here's the recipe from the Craft for the People, from the Brewdog recipe book. The Worcester Hop Shop paperwork, unless I haven't read it properly, it doesn't tell you about the hop drops, which is a bit of an oversight. I will contact them about that because normally it does. And I've got like 75 grams of Citra, 75 grams of Amarillo, 75 grams of Simcoe, 25 grams of Mosaic, and 3 grams of Magnum. So, excuse me. So, I didn't know when to put it in the drops, and if I try and focus on this for you here, it actually says, so start 2.5 grams, that would be the Magnum. Middle, which I've done a 20-minute because it's a flavour addition. 12.5 of Simcoe, 12.5 of Amarillo. End, which I'm doing as a 5-minute addition, 25 Mosaic, 25 Citra, 12.5 Amarillo, 12.5 Simcoe, and then these ones are dry hops. And that works out giving me a bitterness of I need to recalculate that. I've got it a bit wrong here. I wanted a bitterness of about 35, 36 IBUs, so I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit to bring down the IBUs a little bit. At the moment it's currently sitting at 46, but because I'm adding grapefruit peel to it as well, as part of the, I think it's a 5-minute drop in the boil, I don't want to, because that's going to add bitterness as well, I don't want to just overpower the whole thing, so I'll pare it back a little bit, maybe move some stuff into the dry hop. Okay guys, so here's my pH reading. I'll see if I can do this for you. I'm not sure if you'll see it, but it looks to me as though we're about 5.4. I was going to adjust the pH down a little bit, but 5.4, even 5.5, I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to leave that. I was going to put a little bit of lactic acid in there, but I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to let it let it mash away at the moment. There she goes. I'll show you a little sneak inside look. I'm sure you got nice and fogged up there. Okay, so it hasn't yet got up to temperature. So what I did is I set it for a 90-minute mash at 66 degrees Celsius, but it had dropped down to about 63, and then I put a few more litres of water in, cold water, dropped it down to about 56 degrees. I tried to pour the water straight down the malt pipe. Some obviously would have gone on the top, but it's busy heating that up, and then the 90-minute timer will start. So it's going to be quite a long mash, but you know, sun's shining, I've got a Kolsch in my hand outside, I've got time on my hands, so catch you guys on the next step. Okay, so we are nearly halfway through the mash. I just want to show you the wort clarity, and just calibrated my refractometer using the water that's evaporated onto the lid. So if you just angle the lid, pour that onto your refractometer. I got that hint from, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Homebrew Chris or Rusty Homebrew, I don't know, one of the other homebrew guys on YouTube. It's a great idea because you need to calibrate it with distilled water. Why not boiled condensed water? Very clever. Because I needed to take the lid off for this to show you, I calibrated the hydrometer at the same time. 2 bars. Let's have a little look how clear this motherfucker is. That's not something to complain about, is it? Look how bloody clear that wort is. And that's one of the reasons I like to recirculate, well, pretty much through a lot of the mash. I do stop it for sort of 10-15 minute periods right in the middle. But no harm, apart from perhaps running the pump a bit too long. And it's a 90-minute mash, so I won't do it the whole way this time. But she's looking clear, she's looking ready for action. I'm tempted to top her up with another couple of litres, so that I only have literally a 3 litre or so Sparge. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so we finished the mash. If you have a look there, it's still looking lovely and clear, but you can see actually the water level is quite high, but that's because I've gone almost full volume mash. I don't know how close I got to the actual full volume mash. What I'll do first is just pull it out up to the first set of legs, just to let it wash out a little bit. Just let that get out. Once that's drained a bit, get it to the second set of legs. But now I can hear it dripping in there, which means that it's not making contact, so I'm actually going to just bang it up to temperature for a boil. Okay, just wanted to say I pulled it all the way out because not long after pulling it out to the first set of legs, it stopped making dripping noises, so it had made contact with the wort. So I've taken it the full way out, and I've just sparged with cold water, probably 2-3 litres, hardly anything, but just to give it a quick rinse. So that's done. What I didn't do in this is mash out, which I probably should have done, but I didn't. So anyway, this won't be a grain to glass, it will just be the brew day, so you won't get to see that. What I've got here, oh, that smells delicious. This is grapefruit, and I've used just a peeler, like I would peel a potato, to try not to get too much of the, I think what's it called, the white stuff, the pulp or whatever, between the fruit core and the outer peel. So that's purely grapefruit peel, and there's about that much. I'd say that's probably about 30 or 40 grams. I think it called for 45 or so, but that should be enough, and I'm going to chuck that in at about 10 minutes left. Hey guys, so I've just taken a pre-boil gravity. I'm sitting at 1043. It's not likely I'm going to make up 7 points. I think from experience I'd say maybe 5. So 10:48 maybe. 10:48 is fine. I'm sitting looking at probably about 32 litres, something like that in the pot at the moment. So if I boil off 5, I'm going to have quite a bit more than I needed. So perhaps a full volume mash, perhaps I didn't need that much. Got to remember that I'm not losing anything in the mash tun. I'm losing to grain, but I'm not losing. There's no loss in the mash tun because it's all coming out. So it's alright, you know, I'll end up with some more beer, which is fine. Okay guys, so we're coming up to 15 minutes left on the boil. I'm going to chuck in Protofloc yeast nutrient and the 15-minute hop addition, which is I think 12.5 grams each of silicone something. Doesn't matter. I'll put the recipe down though. One more hot drop after this at 5 minutes, in 10 minutes time, so I'll just get the plate chiller ready and all of that, and I've already washed up the other bits that I used, so game on. Okay, so we've got the plate chiller hooked up here. I'm taking it straight from boil. I did a little whirlpool, took out the hop bags, I've just chucked them outside, and I'm going through here, straight into the fermenter. It feels like about 30 degrees, maybe 35, which is perfect for Kveik yeast. So I'm not going to pitch all of this. I don't know how. I think I'll probably pitch half. It's probably still over pitching. There's so much yeast in here. But I need to learn how to be a bit more sparing with my yeast. So far so good. I'm just waiting for something to go wrong. Oh, I did put the peels in. I put them in on the 5-minute drop. I was supposed to put them in on the 15, I think. And I've taken them out now, but I can smell grapefruit in the man cave, so I think there's definitely going to be there's going to be enough grapefruit flavour in there that's worked, that bit has worked. Okay guys, that's the brew day done. I've cleaned everything out. I'm just recircling and cleaning the kettle with some Star San liquids. I'm just going to get it up to like 70 degrees Celsius, circular, and then rinse that out. I ended up, I'll show you over here, I ended up with about, that's probably 23 or 24 litres there, and I had easily 2 litres left in the boil kettle, so I probably could have got away with 3 or 4 litres less water, so maybe that Sparge water that I used ended up with 10.48, so I'm happy with 10.48, 10.50 was the target, so 2 points low, but there's a reason, there's a different volume. That's it guys. That's been probably the easiest brew day I've ever done, even though I had 3 different hop drops in there. It was just so straightforward, and cooling directly through the plate chiller into the fermenter. So I've got this in the fermenter now at 30 degrees Celsius, and this is Kveik yeast, so 30 might even be a little bit cold. I'm just giving the Kveik a little bit longer to warm up so it reaches some kind of parity. It doesn't have to be 30 degrees, but in the mid to late 20s. And then I'm going to pitch that. So I'll get that in the fermentation fridge now and get the heat on it. At some point I'll do like a homebrew Wednesday or something and I'll do the tasting, but for this I'm just going to end the video here. Great, thanks for coming along for the ride guys. It's been a good one. Cheers.